Welcome to the stage, Ali Vallarta, host of CityCast.
If you can't sleep, what's keeping you up at night?
Outrage versus anger, and which is useful and which isn't, because I don't think I can keep living with both.
What do you think your anger is masking?
I think we've mismanaged the social contract. The best distraction for the fact that we've broken the social contract is outrage, because it makes you feel like the thing that you're mad about is temporary. How do we build this world so that when young people are hanging out on the stoop and they leave, they don't want to be like, fuck you, take my trash.
Yeah.
They want to be like, I'll take my trash with me. Thanks for the stoop.
Welcome back, guys. You are listening to Heart and Head Work. I'm Rocky Donati, and I'm sitting here with my business partner,
Tessa Arneson. Thank you for coming.
just giving me sexy eyes, and now I can't stop thinking about it. You know those eyes where like someone looks at you and they kind of like roll them back in their head and give you like the little shrug with your chin down, and it's like, yeah, that's
Bedroom
what she
eyes.
just did. What was that?
Bedroom eyes, right?
Bedroom
Is the expression.
eyes. That's what you were giving
Sorry.
me.
I'm so glad.
Don't be sorry.
I wasn't
Don't be
introduced.
What are you sorry for?
I feel like I'm waiting to be introduced, and then I'll say bedroom eyes.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stage, Ali Vallarta, host of CityCast.
So
Salt
good
Lake.
to be here.
Ugh.
And it's actually called bedroom eyes.
What did I call it? Sexy eyes? I was going to call it
Whatever
kitty cat.
is, I'm just so honored that is
Do it
how
again.
my eyes.
Do it again.
Well, now
Do
I'm
it at the
gonna
camera.
look like I'm trying to poop.
Do it at the camera. You're looking. Okay, you do look like you're pooping, like a laugh poop, but it's a joyful poop. Okay, I would like everyone who's listening right now, I don't care where you are, I don't care if you're driving, you need to look in that rearview mirror and you need to give yourself a moment of like sexy eyes, bedroom eyes. What if you like to do it not in the bedroom? Can it just be sexy eyes then?
Did you
I
just
think
call
so.
it?
Yes, we've already gone over this. I'm a child of the 80s, grew up in the 90s in Southern California. It's called doing it.
Okay.
This isn't the topic of today's podcast, though.
It is not.
Let's rewind the clock just a bit more.
Can we?
Can we say hello again to our guest, Ali Vallarta?
Thank you for saying yes.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm trying to say yes to as much as possible.
Really?
What's
Generally
prompted this?
speaking.
Tell us more.
I feel like it's actually been kind of how I've been since I was a child.
That's
but
even better.
I there's very little that I say no to.
What's
Probably to a
something
fault.
you said no to recently, for context?
What's something I said no to recently?
And if you can't think of anything, I can give you bedroom eyes, and you can say no to that. Look at this.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Giving.
This is actually reminding me of all the times I've said no now.
I thank you. I am an inspiration in the world. You are welcome. Continue.
That's where my head went
Yeah.
for that answer, but I didn't want to speak for you. So
Yeah.
tell us.
I think I often like say no to okay. I was recently doing this event and it was kind of running late, but I wanted to get home just because I wanted to, and so I just left.
Irish
that
goodbye.
would be like an example. Not really an Irish goodbye,
No?
but like
You didn't slink away?
they were sort of like, "Oh, we could have you do this thing later, blah blah blah," and I was like, "I just need to go."
You actually formally bowed out of
I formally
participating.
said,
Oh, yeah, it's not Irish.
I've
okay.
been here this long, and now it's time."
Good job.
Yeah,
Hold
boundaries.
that line, girl.
That was hard. Yeah,
Is it hard then to say no?
I think so. Yeah.
And it feels easy to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we nailed it because we'll just ask her things.
Yeah.
Would
Yes,
you like
here I
to
go.
help with?
Yeah. Please, yes. Whatever you need.
We won't take advantage of you, but that's, yeah.
Well, we might a little bit.
What about you,
because
Tessa? Are you a easily yes or easily no human?
You know that answer.
I do, but the audience doesn't.
Yes, I'm an easily yes person, but I really love to be sold.
So you've learned how to make people like work for it a little bit.
I haven't learned that lesson.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
You just like if that's what they're doing, that they're putting a little extra effort
Yes.
into it. So
Yeah.
then you don't
Correct.
have to take full responsibility for saying just like yes. It's like, well, they did a really good job.
I'm a gut person, so like it's a pretty easy yes or no.
Okay.
Quick.
What about you, Rocky?
I love to say no. Fucking love to say no.
Yeah.
You ask my mom. Mom, I don't actually even know if you listen to my podcast. No. She has a whole book album dedicated to photos of me looking like I'm saying no. Like,
Which I think is genius. And apparently it really pissed her off as a kid.
which is great.
when your mom made it. But I think as a mom,
She sees me.
I think that is so clever and creative, and that she actually really knows you.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to get a photo album of smiles. I'm going to get a photo album of fuck off faces.
Yeah.
And really own it. But I like no because of boundaries. I like being able to confidently say like, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not into that. And so I just got, I think like most things, we overdo it to some degree.
Yeah.
So I swing way too much to that pendulum of no's, but I am also an extreme yesist. So
when you're feeling it, it's a hell yes.
oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. I feel like all of us are a little bit, well, and I guess everyone, but there is like sort of a currency to goodwill. And I think that there's like, you always have to weigh that as well when you do community work. And so I think sometimes I feel pressure to say yes because I'm like, well, I'm not trying to ruffle feathers around here.
Oh God, but good ruffle feathering is so cleansing.
But I think there is like a degree of that where it's like, this is a small town. Is it easier to just say yes?
Oh
than
yeah.
to say no? And the path of least resistance is the one I'm taking, depending on the day.
That's interesting. As a fellow yes person,
What, you guys are excluding me now?
Well,
That's not very yes people.
I'm not
All
excluding
right.
you.
All right.
I'm
just gonna scoot
related.
closer.
YES. We're all here.
We're all
Oh,
here.
thanks. That makes me feel
Yeah,
better.
see,
I'm
there
the
you go.
S.
She pulls us back. She
Yes,
pulled us
this
back.
is very nice.
This is what pro hosts do.
I know.
y'all.
Fuck.
It
We
is
don't do
interesting.
that.
I'm like,
We just
stop
ramble.
turning the tables. We're interviewing you.
How many podcasts do you record a week for
5.
City? Yeah. So you're.
Wow.
And how many years?
Sometimes more, sometimes like 7 because we'll work ahead.
You're doing like 250 episodes a year. No, but
We just had our 1,000th episode.
and how many years? 5?
4?
Oh yeah. So you're going even
that math
faster
work?
than 250.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
huge.
It's a lot. Sometimes we rerun shows, but we try and be sneaky about it. We try not to do it more than 2 times a month.
I've never noticed. I think your sneak factor is high.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of podcasting.
Well, we don't get to turn the table on to you very often because you're always doing the question asking.
Great questions.
So I want to hear, I don't really know your origin story. And when you came in today, you also got to tell us that you are a recent citizen.
Oh yeah.
And then you don't have to talk about that, but I would just love to hear who is Ellie?
Wow. Okay. So I was, origin story. Let's see. What's the most like interesting version? I mean, I grew up in Florida, which I do think comes up a lot on the podcast to the extent that like, we were interviewing the other day, the mayor of Park City. And in the middle of the conversation, he was like, something, I'm from Florida. And I was like, and my producer was like, do not derail. Cause I just love being from Florida. And I think
Allie,
it's really
please
fun.
stop talking about Florida.
I love it so much. I really love Salt Lake City too, but I really love Florida. And I actually think Salt Lake City, one of the reasons I love Salt Lake is similar to the reason that I love my home state of Florida, which is that it's a place that people have a lot of feelings about, like all over the world and the country.
I was literally just going to ask you, what
why?
the fuck is the
Why?
same thing as
It is
Salt
that.
Lake in Florida? There's
I think
nothing.
it is that. I think it is that thing where it's like there's a caricature of that place that
Yes.
exists everywhere, and then you go to that place, you live in that place,
true.
and you're like, this is not at all like what I was told it was going to be. And I like.
So
that.
you
I
didn't
think
have a
that's
pet crocodile.
No.
You are not. I actually don't. I can't think of any. Oranges. How do you feel about them?
Delicious.
Okay, that's about all I know about Florida.
I grew up riding horses. We have a lot of horses. I grew up in Sarasota, Florida, which is like a gorgeous destination beach town. It was very much like a Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville kind of childhood. Like a lot of like watching like guys who lived on boats drink a pitcher of land shark and then row out to their houseboat. Was like, that was sort of like the trouble I was getting in as a teenager.
Because you were hanging out with these old men who had boats?
Right. Like just on the same dock,
on the beach,
you know, being like
at the beach
could
bars.
I maybe have a beer, you know? And so it was just like a very chill, very cool place to grow up.
Did you
and
learn
be
any
a feral child?
like nuggets of wisdom from these old salty men?
Not really. I mean, I was sort of like, buy land, you know?
Did you listen?
I don't. I rent still. I basically have a houseboat in the lower avenues. Like I learned nothing. And I went to every bar. I am them. I have brought their lifestyle to the shores of Salt Lake City.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so that's
amazing.
little Allie or teenage Allie.
Yeah. And to answer the citizenship question, I am Canadian. My dad was Mexican. He died a couple years ago. My mom's Canadian. I was born in British Columbia. Born in British Columbia, did grow up in Florida, went to college in Vermont, learned to ski 1 month ago. Have lived in Utah for 8 years. So that's a journey I'm on right now, which is really humbling.
Welcome to the outdoors.
I was just going to say, what a season to learn how to ski. There ain't no
It's
snow.
okay.
I know.
It's fine.
But
If you're
I
on the
now,
bunny hill,
like,
it's all the same.
when we have a ton of snow, maybe I'm going to slay because I'm like
You are
skiing over rocks.
Definitely. No, this
Slay.
is actually like the best time to learn.
true.
It's like ice, dirt, and
Yep.
rocks.
Reeds.
Slush, mashed potatoes, slushy. Like, yeah, the whole thing is strange. So when it snows, it will be fun, presumably. It's already fun, but I'm wiping out a lot. It's humbling.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What were your parents like? And do you have siblings?
I have 2 half brothers. They live in Mexico. They're from my dad's first marriage. My dad was like very charismatic and fierce and an addict and like really generous and loving and troubled, I would say. My mom is like a real whip smart, badass, like, you know, I remember like being young and my mom one day being like, we have $200. Like, that's how much money we have right now. If I tell you no to something, it's like just simply because we can't afford it. Like, you know, there were just a lot of moments where we struggled with money and we were figuring it out. And my mom is just like steady sales, so smart, figured out so much for herself. Yeah, she was a nurse. So like,
Calm under
kind.
pressure too. That's how
Calm
she.
under pressure.
Can you? I can't imagine telling a child like, all right, I can't even imagine telling our employees like, all right, so we got $200.
Mm-hmm.
That
I'm gonna
takes
tell
a
you no
level.
lot, and
Yeah,
you need to know why.
Yeah.
the context, the ability to have like a straight conversation with a child, and then not go into that space that I think we all go into, not having children, of course, myself, but like, oh, you have to lie to them. Oh, you have to like, you know, protect them and hoard this information so that they can't see it. I mean, that's a really beautiful relationship for your mom to have with you.
Yeah. And I mean, honesty is a shield, right? So like, there's also something so cool about like, I don't know, I always am just like, I am not a parent, but as I understand it, your job is to make sure that your kids can survive without you. And so like figuring out when to be honest with them, when to give them an opportunity to like rise to an occasion with you, you know, like that's all part of the calculus. And it seems like it's probably the hardest part because no one wants to have that conversation, but you also kind of accept that it's an opportunity. But yeah, I mean, my mom was very like I remember when not the first time, but like one time going in to get a vaccine, which we still did in Florida at the time. And, and
Was that like a little like side note? Here's the real Florida people.
And she like, there were all these like kids that were really scared and kind of panicking. And my mom was very like, this is awesome. Like you are getting this like superpower injected in your body. It's super cool. It's going to protect you. And like, you're lucky. And I like remember marching in there and being like, let's go, fuckers.
Yes. You can't see her maybe if you're listening to this, but she pulls up her sleeve like a badass and shoots out her arm. I was not that kid. I was scared to death of needles.
Yeah.
I remember a really nice nurse though that is reminding me of your mother that was like, can I get you a juice box?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I could use it. Yeah, I could use a juice box. And then she's like, all right, why don't you look over this way and we'll talk about blah, blah, blah. And then she just shot me with that thing and I didn't feel it at all. And she's like, look at you being a champion. I was like, I am a champion. And then she gave me a lollipop. I think I was 21 years old in college.
Right. And that was last week. No, I mean, framing is everything. And yeah, parenting's hard. My mom she totally crushed it. I mean, I guess if you're listening to this and you think I'm like a total flop, then maybe you don't think
oh my God, no.
I do not
Kudos
think that
to your mom. Kudos to your mom.
I think she really crushed it. So we had this like very cool relationship in my childhood and teenage years where like, I mean, being a teenage girl is wild, but like it was this very, I would say like Gilmore Girls adjacent, like doing our thing. We're friends. We're like both figuring this out. Childhood, and that was cool. And like a beach town, like a sleepy kind of artsy, wear your bathing suit to the grocery store beach town is like a cool place to have that kind of upbringing. So yeah, I just like love it and try and bring that energy to all the things that I do. Like, what if this was a Publix and I was in my bikini, you know? How could that make the situation better or
I grew up in San Diego and I've never asked myself that question. And now I'm wondering why I haven't, because I did the same thing. I walked around in a bathing suit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's that ruffled
I have a
bathing
question.
suit
So
confidence?
do you both, again, leaving me out here, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to assume your answer. I kind of know your answer. How is your relationship with your body? Do you think it's different because you grew up on a beach town and you were always in a bikini?
I think that's such a good question. Yeah. It was like something to get used to young. And like it was tough in my young years. I mean, we grew up in like the 90s, early aughts, and like it like big lips and big ass and like all that was not cool yet. It had not like totally hit mainstream.
Yeah, we're still like siphoning off the Kate Moss as skinny as possible, which is crazy.
Coming back to it, maybe, I don't know, but hopefully not. But I mean, shout out to Kate Moss, stunning. But
I know, that was not.
If I wake
hit
up
on
looking
her,
like
but-
Kate Moss tomorrow, I just want to be clear, like
If
that's fine.
I wake up looking like you tomorrow, I'd be stoked on it. So yeah.
But yeah, the like whole body thing it definitely is intense when it's like everywhere. And it's funny because I went to college in Vermont where
Which one?
Middlebury College.
Oh, cool. I went to St. Lawrence.
You did?
We played each other in sports.
Yeah.
10 years apart, probably.
I was just going to say, but
I didn't play sports.
I know, but I mean, our schools played each other.
They did. They did. Yeah.
Same.
That's cool.
Same zone.
I feel like we've had so many people on the podcast already that have gone to school in Vermont.
I think there are a lot of Vermonters out here because they
But
want
all
to ski
East
powder.
Coasters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to ski powder, and it's very ethereal. Like there's this vision, just like every state has,
Yeah.
Vermont has.
Yeah, you
this
wanted to ride
vision.
horses in the Wild West.
Well, yeah. I mean, I also was just aware of the fact that if I went to college in a big city, I would never get anything done. And like, I went to college in this place where it was like kind of Winthropian, like city on a hill. If you looked any direction, you saw cows.
It's very
and
beautiful.
so kind of forced you to do your homework. But it was cold all the time, always in jeans, always in a sweater. And I remember actually coming home like in the summers on school break and feeling like, oh, this shit again. Like I have to be in a bathing suit. It's like skinny. It's like tiny clothes. It's like, because I was still figuring out my relationship with my body. And I actually think I like a little bit sought refuge in like being in a giant coat all the time in Vermont. It felt so nice.
You just hide. It's a giant thing to hide behind.
Yeah. It can be nice. And again, when you're like a 20-something-year-old young woman and you're just figuring out what you will and won't tolerate about yourself. And like, I tolerated so little about myself when I was in my early 20s. But yeah, that's now I'm like over it. You can find me at Plunge half naked. And
I thought you were going to say Smith's. And I was like, good for you. Get after it. It's funny. When you said that, Tessa, I had this image of, I was in 5th or 6th grade and I was with my friend. We will call her JB so that I don't formally say her name out loud because I don't know if she'll be upset about this. But
was it Jean Benet?
Yes.
I love. Yes, let's call her
Jean
Jean
Benet, who was 5 years old, and myself. All right, I'll just say it. Her name was Jillian. And we were standing, because you run around all the time in San Diego with just a bathing suit on. And we were standing in the ocean. And if you guys have ever done this, maybe done it in Florida, when the waves come in and out and your feet are planted in the sand, there's this suction or this pull that the ocean gives you. And we used to call it rocket ship boots. And it was like, you literally feel as though there's movement of your body, but you're standing still, of course.
Yeah.
And we were doing this, and I had found my mom's stash of old bikinis. Did you guys ever find your mom's stash of like old bathing suits?
No, but that sounds awesome.
Okay, it was sick because like in the 80s,
Yeah.
she was rocking like a lime green, high-waisted, underwire, whatever. And I have the body of like a 12-year-old from being just a 12-year-old. Like it never progressed past that. So even at this age, it did not fit at all. But I was wearing this lime green bikini and I was looking down at it and I was like, man, Jillian, it's like changing colors. It's like yellow. And she looks down and she goes, funny, I can't see my bathing suit because my boobs are in the way. And at the time I was like, oh, I can see my bathing suit because I'm flat. Oh, this is like so sad. And I just remember having all this shame about my body. And of course, she just happened to be busty.
Right.
Like early development, right? And she had I'm sure, no intent of saying it like, oh, Rocky, I can't see mine because my tits that are giant and beautiful are in the way. She was probably also like, I can't see my bathing suit because my tits are in the way, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think as a kid, sure, confidence, because I don't know if kids question it in the same way. But the minute you hit that teenager thing, I don't think the bathing suit makes a difference. I think we all start questioning. It's too small. It's too big. I'm too short. I've got curly hair. I want straight hair like Kate Moss.
And I think like these days, they're just with like the internet and whatever, you can have more eyes on more body types. You can have more eyes on more options. You can wear the low-waisted or the high-waisted. We were strictly going to Abercrombie and Hollister, and I was crying in dressing rooms because a low-slung, tiny little high-rise Daisy Duke short did not fit me. And it was like, well, first of all, define fit. What are you trying to achieve here with this short? Like, it's on your body.
Oh yeah, that
it's
sounds
clasped.
like exactly what a
It fits you.
13-year-old is asking themselves.
Exactly. And then like the other thing is like, yeah, there are more options, right? Like there are now so many more options. But yeah,
We did have
tough.
limited versions of beauty.
Yeah, because you could only get it from exactly what you saw. So in Florida, you would see one version of something. In San Diego, I was seeing one version of something. In Utah, you were seeing one version of something, maybe two, maybe the outskirts. But then magazines, that was, we didn't have access to the diversity, if you will.
Yeah. Well, what's the lesson you've been trying to learn your whole life?
Yeah, just squeeze in a small question. Don't worry about
Just
it.
say no. See above. See above. Yeah. I mean, I think a lesson I've been trying to learn my whole life is when to take risk. Because in part, I think it does come back to like sitting at that table and my mom being like, so we have $200. Like, this is how we are going to maneuver. And there are times when I'm like risk averse around like money and like so many things and trying to figure out like when it's worth it, when to make the leap, you know? So that's a lesson that I'm trying to figure out. And I'm okay at it.
Is it specific to money or opportunity or kind of everything with risk?
Well, I feel like it's worked out for me because I am like a say yes person. And so I've been so lucky in that so many things that I've done have kind of been because somebody either planted the idea for me or came to me with an opportunity or like it just made sense. But I think I'm trying to learn how to better create the opportunities for myself. Does that make sense? Like as opposed to like, you know, just kind of sitting and waiting for a sign and it's like, no, I need to get better at just making the sign or doing it without a sign, like radical, but like sometimes there's no sign and you still have to do it by Arta or just like figure it out. And so that's like, I think a lifelong lesson is is like wait and see or just go for it.
I like that.
That's interesting. And I wonder how much around that upbringing, you know, with your mom, like helped form that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And my mom's like, she's never been a religious person, but I think is a big believer in luck. And so she is definitely like more of a wait for a sign. Like it was all meant to be this way. It worked out exactly as, you know, the master plan kind of thinking. And I definitely like pushed back against that, I think a little bit as a teenager, but I think I'm entering this phase in my life where I'm a little bit more like, what is luck? Like, you know, I want to wait and see less.
How do you define luck right now? Like, what's its current iteration to you?
I mean, 50% magic, 50% timing. Like
That sounds like a beautiful definition of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, yeah, so I guess like I do believe that like there is an element of magic that you can't create. There is an element of luck that you can't create. I don't think totally naive to that. But the timing piece, I think that we actually maybe can fuck around with a little bit more than we want to admit sometimes.
Oh yeah, because time's irrelevant. We could be in the past, present, future at any point in time. What if right now, technically, you know, like deja vu that exists, alternate timelines, bigger universe, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So we could be talking about this right now and that affects something that happens in 15 minutes. But like, is it actually what happened in 15 minutes or did it happen at the same time? And we're just experiencing it in two different periods of time.
I do believe,
looks
like
to camera.
I know.
What do you guys think?
Dun, dun, dun.
Someone else weigh in.
And I probably didn't even explain it well, but you know, that concept of when is it like a dream? If you have a dream, are you potentially seeing the future and you're experiencing it in the present?
Yeah.
Because it has already happened. Because it did happen in your dream.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen in three-dimensional space.
And when is the time right? I mean, both of you have made big moves in this community, in this world. Did you, like, what is your relationship with timing?
It's funny when you say that. I'm like, what big moves? Tell me. What did we do? What are the big moves that we made?
I was just thinking about timing because I do believe, like I was telling someone the other day, I don't think we could have built what we built in the time of Salt Lake right now because now land values are really expensive and the economy is where it's at. I think a lot of our timing was some luck and some bravery to jump on a big idea. Like, I think it would be hard to, if I was in the same place, hadn't built this right now and was going to do it in Salt Lake, I think I'd have to leave Salt Lake or go to a different area of Salt Lake to be able to pull off the same idea. So
yeah,
I kind of like the definition that you said of luck is timing and magic. And then the other is like that bravery to take the leap, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I sort of do end up trusting the timing and waiting for things to unfold. And sometimes I'm trying to force the timing of things and I will notice that things or doors are not opening. But if I can sit down and sit still, then the extra space is where the magic starts to come in and the creativity starts to come in, or I have the extra time to sit down and have coffee with a friend that makes an introduction to the next thing or whatever it is. So I do think, I guess I didn't fully answer your question, but I do really think is this whole business of trust the timing, sort of. It doesn't mean when you're like, well, I feel like maybe you can fuck around with that timing. It doesn't mean you can't be completely ready for that thing to come your way and be ready to jump. But I think timing and risk is a little different.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say, just sort of off the cuff, but like we were talking earlier, Tessa, about how we both like to, like you love to connect people in the community.
Totally one of my favorite talents.
Love doing that. And I also have been reflecting on that lately because I'm like, oh, that's like you being someone else's luck, right? Like that's kind of, I think, exactly what I'm referring to, where it's like, oh, I met someone and they introduced me to this idea or whatever. And so as much as like we take responsibility for being other people's luck and like never hesitating to connect them or like not feeling like, you know, we shouldn't share resources, like not having scarcity, that, you know, I think like, okay, how can I make more of those moments happen for myself?
I think you probably are making them happen by doing it for others.
Yeah.
I think we're always trying to figure out what the balance is of like, when do I act / when do I surrender? And what's the, I mean, because what I'm hearing is you have great opportunities that open their doors and you have chosen to walk through them. Benefit of being a yes person, benefit of having this idea of luck being instilled at you at an early age. But did you ever feel like there was, you mentioned resistance with the luck too. Like, what's your relationship? What's happening in that space as younger Allie versus older Allie? How are you like evolving in that world? Not that you're old.
I think I feel like the need to disclose that I'm 35 years old, which is old to some and young to some.
41.
44.
Would you like to shout your age?
44. Actually 7. Okay, I feel so much better now. Continue.
I like, yeah, I think there is something to the fact that as you get older, it sometimes feels like there are less opportunities for like doors to just randomly open. And sometimes like, I think I've been realizing that looking back on my life and like when I am asked to tell my story, so often it's like, then I did this and then I did this and then I pivoted over here and I met someone and I followed them to this like whatever distant land. And
yeah, beautiful adventure story.
but those are also just like the sales of youth. And that like we live in this world where, you know for certain, almost certain that you're going to go to middle school and then high school. And then after that, you're going to figure out maybe if you go to college or whatever. And so they like create these pathways that can feel, I think, sometimes less like steady or more exciting than they even are, because a little bit that ground's been laid. And so as you get older, it's like, okay, what is like college for me right now? Like, what is like, how do I like break up this decade into chapters? Or how do I like, how do I create opportunities for like a new door to appear? Or how do I like build new sales that are going to open up those doors? And so, yeah. And like, I mean, we very much still live in a time where like, I think for women in particular, age creates boundaries. And I like to think that, as I get older, the world will be more excited to let me like kick down new doors. But that's not always the case. And so
like currently you don't feel the world is excited to watch you kick down doors.
I think the world might not be excited when I'm 70 or 65 if I wanted to like bust into a boardroom and raise
You
hell.
come find me. I'll still be alive and kicking, and I will be like, fuck yeah. Well, what became the pivot point for you to feel that way about the world?
I don't know.
Because you mentioned like post college, like everything was kind of laid out until that point. Was that, and maybe even like after first job, because that's also technically like what you're supposed to do after college.
Or post sales of youth.
Yeah.
When you're like, now, okay, how do I create
Who
this?
am I?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm feeling a little bit of that right now. Like Salt Lake is now officially, after my hometown, the place I've lived the longest. How long have you been? Which isn't a very long time, but I think coming up on a decade, I'm feeling like, okay, what an interesting chapter. What an interesting place. What an interesting, like, what a fun life I've built. Where do I go from here? Do I like escalate my relationship with Salt Lake City? Or is it like time to think about building a new relationship? Or like, what stones have I left unturned in this city? Like, where am I closing myself off?
Politics.
Where am I like closing myself off from curiosity? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just like, and I don't think that those feelings in our life have to necessarily be like come to pass because of like any specific time. I don't think it has to be a decade. Sometimes you do something for 3 months and you're like, well, I'm done here, you know? And so,
but a decade's a milestone. Like it does make you think because it's a third of your life right now, not to redate you, but like that's a large chunk of time. So is there like in this current iteration, what's one of these things that you feel like is stagnant or like, what do you think you want to do? Even if it's not fully flesh, like what's the catalyst that you're mulling over right now?
I mean that if I can answer that question, then I would
pay me for my time.
Would not
yes.
then I would.
Yeah,
I would.
I understand.
I really would.
Well, because you're mulling, like what if you can't sleep, what's keeping you up at night?
So I'm going to answer that question proverbially because nobody sleeps like me.
Dang girl.
Like
Bless.
10 hours a night.
Dude,
Amazing.
me too. Let's keep going. Hold
Hell
on.
yeah.
How well are you sleeping?
Are we
1
doing
out of
sleep
10.
off?
Yes. I'm having a sleep off with you.
I'll go right now.
I'll go. No, I will fall. I will actually fall asleep faster than you. I just took a 16-hour nap because time is irrelevant. So I win.
I average anywhere from 8 to 10 hours a night. Head hits the pillow, I'm done. I actually can't read at night because it doesn't matter what time it is. If it's dark out and I read like a sentence, I'm asleep.
Yes.
I rarely wake up. I have a new hydroponic garden and it turns on at 6 a.m. So it's been waking me up and I need to change that setting, but I keep forgetting. And yeah, I mean, like it is actually crazy how well I sleep. And my friends hate me.
So then what about in the daytime? What makes you,
what do you
like feel woozy?
I don't
yeah,
want to say worried.
proverbially,
Maybe that's
like-
too much. Yeah.
I think right now, I do think that we are undergoing like a generational shift. And I think I wouldn't say I feel like anxious about it because I think like I'm along for the ride, but I am so curious how we're all going to land. And I am thinking a lot about all the things that we're going to have to like rebuild and who's going to build them. And that keeps me up at night.
Politics.
I've always thought this.
I think
Politics.
that like we are, we're burning a lot of things down right now. And I'm like, in this manner, not necessarily, but I am kind of pro burning some things down. I think
what's
like here for
pissing
you
you
to burn
off
down.
that you want to burn the fuck down right now? Like if you just put a match to it and it was gone.
So I think like I would love to burn down our criminal justice system.
Tell me more.
I would love to burn down the way that we handle crime and punishment. I would like to burn down the way that we like perceive crime and punishment. I would love to burn down prisons. I would love to like, like things like that are like mega.
How come?
I believe in restorative justice. Like I just think that like locking anything away, let alone a human being, does not fix anything for anyone.
I would agree.
It
Totally.
doesn't make anything better. And I mean, what we know right now is that it's making things significantly worse for all of us. So
Why
that's, like,
that
one for me.
piece? Like, why?
Well, I think when you say like, what would you just categorically burn down? That's like the most obvious to me. Like that's the one that comes to mind. But I think I'm also thinking about it a lot right now because we're talking about, the Utah legislature has just set aside about $100 million to like rebuild a prison in the middle of the state. We're talking about a detention facility in Salt Lake City. We're talking about maybe it didn't get funded by the legislature, but it could come back around a homeless campus that would forcibly commit people. I think we are thinking a lot about prison in this very city. Like we're thinking a lot about crime. I think every year we're raising our police budget. Every year we're like just sort of applying these Band-Aid solutions to crime and punishment. And so like also in my day job, I have to talk about that a lot. And so I'm just like thinking about it a lot and it's keeping me up at night. Cause I think if we can't figure out a way that isn't locking each other away, we're just like never going to get anywhere. We'll just lock each other away forever and ever and ever until everybody's locked up.
I read about this.
Archaic.
Yeah, I read about this program in Europe, and I can't remember which country. I want to say the Netherlands, where they developed this system where the police were encouraged to give rewards to kids that were doing things so that they wouldn't go unseen, rather than just being ticket holders for punishment. And their theory was that crime would be reduced as a result of it, and violence against the police would be reduced because there would be a more mutual building of the community. So it's not police enforcement. It's police there to be a mirror of, are you being a good community member, or are you doing something that is harmful to the community? Mm-hmm. And they saw incredible results from it. And that, I think, idea for America as a country is like, well, that's just not how we do shit. We like to behead people in public if we could. And we just, we lock them away so that we don't look like the bad guys. But we're pretty punishment focused. I mean, Protestant, Puritan
I live
origins.
in a condo building, and we have like kind of a stoop, which I love because I love stoop culture, but we don't really have a
where like
stoop
people
culture.
gather.
Yeah, where people like can
This is
kind
you
of just
bringing
hang
Florida
out and loiter legally.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And like there were a bunch of young people hanging on the stoop. They were like, whatever, maybe or maybe not, having a few beers. And I went to let my dog out, and they were like so friendly, lovely, whatever. The next morning, I went to let my dog out again, and like they had left cans all over the front of the building. There were like cans all in the bushes. Mm-hmm. Like they had just left their shit and taken off. And I was like, okay, I think that you do that when you don't feel ownership over a space and a place. And so like, how do we build this world so that when young people are hanging out on the stoop and they leave, they don't want to be like, fuck you, take my trash.
Yeah.
They want to be like, I'll take my trash with me. Thanks for the stoop,
Mm-hmm.
And like, that is an us problem more than a them problem a little bit. And so I think like, those are the kinds of things that we are just going to have to figure out. And
reciprocity.
We got to get through.
How do we, because that's not ingrained in our culture.
No.
The way that you know what I'm just rereading is Braiding Sweetgrass. Mm-hmm. And that's such a theme in that book of how do we continually think about not just one generation, but multiple generations and giving back. And that's a long haul, which is why if you get into politics, you can help with that. Allie from
Why
President.
do you want me to get into?
I don't know. She started saying it. Now I'm just a mirror.
Okay,
That's
so
all I'm doing.
I feel like
this is. I've
you
thought
think
this for a
politics
long
can
time.
be helped.
Ooh, do you want to talk about that?
Great
Tell us your
question.
opinion on
Okay,
this.
wait, before we go there, I will tell you the reason I thought that I really wanted you to sit down with us, and probably how I pitched you to our team internally is, and how I talk about you without you here, is I'm like,
change maker.
yes, change maker, and also you are you are going to inherit this city if you choose to stay. Because
from old
you
people
are,
like us.
from
Yeah.
From the, I'm not saying generation, like we're totally different generations, but
We
10
are
years in
actually.
front of you,
Yeah.
like we get a lot of opportunities and a lot of cool things to do. And I turn around and you're everywhere. And I'm like, cool. She's the one that's going to inherit the city. Come fix it and run for office. Do I think that you can solve everything through office? No. But do I think if our lawmakers look differently than they currently do, will we solve something? Yes.
And change the conversation. Which is what
it's different people at the table.
sounds
It's
like
why
you're doing.
we are having this conversation. I believe it's one of the reasons you do your job is you want to elevate voices. You want different people at the table, and our peeps on the hill, they all look a lot of the same. Mm-hmm. And if we can make them look different, and those conversations then can be different. But until that change happens, I think we're going to keep getting a lot of the same. Mm-hmm. So I want women to run. I don't feel tough enough to run. I do feel like you would be able to handle it. I see you get criticized, publicly, and you're tough as shit and soft at the same time. When things are so big and heavy in the world, because you, not only on your podcast, but you're just an informed human who cares and you do cool work to make this city more informed and better. How do you handle all of the hard, heavy stuff that you learn about or are fighting for? What do you do to keep going?
I mean, I would love to act like I don't like scream at the wall. I absolutely scream at the wall a lot. I have this joke with my boyfriend because he grew up here and I grew up on the East Coast, as we discussed. And so like we'll often be in the car and I'll be getting worked up about something and he's like, "Why are you yelling at me?" And I'm like, "I'm agreeing with you. I'm just from the East Coast."
Oh my God, my husband's going to hear this and go like, there's someone else like me.
Yeah, he's like, don't yell at me. I didn't do it. So like, I mean, you know, one of my flaws is just, I think, the rage that I can channel.
Do you think that's a flaw or do you think that's what keeps you going?
Speaking as an anger person, it's not a flaw.
Yeah.
It's a power.
We're actually perfect.
Yeah.
And
As we are, everyone.
because we grew up in bikinis and we won't be taking further questions
and
about
raging
that connection.
shit. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not. I think that like, actually, I've been thinking about this a lot, which is like outrage versus anger and which is useful and which isn't, because I don't think I can keep living with both. I'm going to have to pick one. And I think I'm going to go with anger because I do think that like anger can get things done. Like anger can drive change. Anger can get people motivated. But like outrage is a roller coaster sort of emotion. Anger to me feels more like steady and persistent. And so I think it's good as a community to lean into our anger and let it be one of our fuels. I think outrage ultimately exhausts you. And so like that's not powerful.
I'm getting like a woman who's like, "Oh, it's just so outrageous that this is happening." So earlier today I went to the store.
Right.
And it's just like a passing moment or a to the wind rather than like, I'm angry, I'm steeping in this, I've been in this for a prolonged period of time and it's making it so I can't sleep at night or stirring at me during the daytime.
Yeah. I mean, outrage spikes you. It's like creates a spike in your body. And we know that, I mean, you're fitness and wellness professionals, you know that like you never want a spike, right? The goal is like, and so I think of like, anger is enduring and that makes it more powerful and it builds movements.
Marathon,
and anger is a
sprint.
long-term plan and anger is usually informed and developed and like, my mom used to say it's not a primary emotion. Like you feel something and it makes you angry. So you like feel sadness and that makes you angry.
Your mom's
feel
a fucking
fear,
witch for the record.
and that makes you angry.
Smart.
And so like anger is also like, there's all these other things that are in the pot. So I don't think it's bad to lean into our anger. And I don't think there's like anything wrong with being angry. I do think that we all have to figure out how to deal with outrage, myself included. And I think in those moments, often when I'm like yelling at my boyfriend in the car as a proxy for whatever I'm mad about, what I'm experiencing is outrage. And it's exhausting us both.
What do you think your anger is masking? What's the emotion under that you feel like you fall into or your shadow emotion?
It's probably disappointment. But maybe that's because I grew up in the South. So disappointment is like my baseline. Well, I don't know. I just feel like, in the South, it's very like, you know, there's more of like a like disappointment culture. But also,
You've let me down.
I think it's everywhere. I feel like people who grew up here probably also, I mean, you grew up in deep Catholic Boston household, you know, disappointment. Like, so we all know it. But yeah, I think it's like the feeling that it didn't have to be this way.
What are you disappointed? What are you angry? What are you outraged about right now?
I mean, you know.
I mean,
tell the people. They don't know.
Tell us. I know you.
I actually feel like I don't know. I should let myself in with the people.
I feel that we have built a cruel society. And I think that we have I think we've mismanaged the social contract. I think we all feel that it's broken. All of us.
If we're paying attention, fuck yeah.
Even the billionaires that we like are all ready to, like, I think top to bottom, we all know that the social contract is broken. The opportunity is to rebuild it. And that's like cool and exciting. But I think that is the thing that makes me feel disappointed. And
that people aren't stepping in to rebuild.
Yeah, no, I think like, the best like smokescreen for that, I think the best distraction for the fact that we've broken the social contract is outrage. Because it makes you feel like the thing that you're mad about is temporary. It makes you feel like the thing that you're mad about is a one-off. And so like also being in this outrage cycle is sort of a distraction from the more long-term thing that we should be angry about, which is that we don't have a social contract. And so if we don't have one, if we don't all agree that it's functioning, if we don't all agree on like the terms, then what do we hold ourselves accountable to? And like, where do we channel our anger? And who's responsible? But outrage is like, momentary villains, momentary issues, like momentary chaos. And it's so hard, I think, to like jump that track from outrage to anger. But I think there are people who have done it. And like throughout history, the people who have done it well are the people who have actually been at the head of like social, movements, or who have like really propelled us beyond.
Can you give me an example
so
I have better context for what you're imagining?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to name heroes because I feel like they always let you down.
Name someone dead. They can't let you down anymore.
Oh, are you kidding?
They can? Oh, fuck.
They could be in those files. I don't know. I haven't read them all. I'm trying to think of a good example. I mean, I think like a lot about even just like when you go to a protest now, and there are always people there who are like, I've been protesting this for 60 years, like people with the signs that are like, can't believe I'm still protesting this shit. That's like become a classic, right? And so like, to me, those are individuals who like understand that these are long-term fights. These are long-term battles, that we have to have a vision, that we've got to lay a vision, and we've got to fight for that vision.
They're not just popping in and out.
They're not popping in and out.
Protest because
they're not popping in and
it's
out.
popular.
I think about those wise, beautiful older women in their 60s and 70s, like that I saw right when Roe v. Wade fell, and there was such despair amongst our generation because we grew up with that freedom, right? So it was so shocking to have it go away. And some of their signs, or talking to them at some of those early rallies, were, I already fought for this once. How am I back fighting for this again?
Yeah.
And I think that's who I think of, like they're here for the fight again. And how can we be in that group of like, it's a special, weird time in history. So how do we stay in the fight?
Yeah. How do we stay focused? What helps you be more informed? What helps you focus? And what's distracting you? Like, we all have to figure that out.
The news distracts me because I get into that like outrageous spot, right? That spike that you keep referencing. But what is if we're going to do this long term, and like, I'm here to fight for equality for women. So how do we keep doing that work without getting distracted by some of the other high points out there?
Yeah.
What do you feel like your biggest hurdle is to jump track from this outrage to anger, making it sustainable?
I mean, I work in news media. And so I think of our job at CityCast as being, we consume all the outrage on your behalf, and then we'll bring you the things that are worth being angry about and not being angry.
Yeah, you're like our
that's
thankful
hard.
filter.
Yeah,
our
you're
job
our
is
filter. Yeah.
right, is sort of to curate. And like, I always think of media in Salt Lake, which we're so lucky we have this like incredibly robust media ecosystem. We have tons of fantastic journalists, but it is like a river. And so we're fish, and we like watch all the food go by and decide what is worth jumping for. Knowing that some of it could have hooks attached.
I really need to catch a good fish that's eating quality food. Otherwise,
Yeah. And so like, yeah, it is a little bit curating. And so when you're in a curatorial role, you have to consume everything, and then you bring your audience what you think is the most important or the best or the most relevant or has the longest term implications, or, you know, and so, but the reality of that ecosystem is that it is fueled by outrage.
Yeah, that's hard.
And so, and I used to be a development director, so my background's in fundraising, and like that's also fueled by outrage, you know. And so like so much of my career has relied on being in this ecosystem while also trying to be like keep sort of a level head, but it's hard. And so you end up, if you're like a journalist these days, fighting between like what headline is going to reach people and how do we not exhaust them in the process.
I was just going to say, as you're saying that, this idea of consuming the way you have to consume, I noticed I was just like kind of melting.
Yeah,
and, like,
I was wondering,
tired.
what's your practice around being able to survive that or not have it soak in?
This is why she sleeps so well. She's like just fucking gonked out at the end of the day, and then
I just have this little rubber mallet, and I mean, yeah, and also as a person who like also has a life, also has friends and like a boyfriend and hobby, is like not being the worst person at the party. It's like, you know, sitting at a jazz game and everyone's having fun. And I'm like, well, actually, we're paying them. So you're like trying to, it's also just like trying to be a normal, like show up as a normal guy. And our executive producer has heard me say almost once a week, I'm like, I don't want to know how the sausage is made. Like, I want freedom from this information, but it is the gig. So
we are grateful to you and everyone else who's doing this gig, because I could not be the fish choosing what food
and
to
I don't
consume.
want to know how the sausage is made all the time. Thanks for doing that.
It's a tough job. It's a tough job. And like I'm preaching to the choir. We all know that like local news and information is important, and that journalism is a underappreciated job, and that journalists have recently come under fire just for doing their jobs and can be endangered and all those things. But I do think also like if you got every journalist in the room, they would also, as individuals, like very much, I think a lot of us have gone through that jumping of the track from outrage to anger. Like you like, that is also part of your process in that career, because you just have to. Like you have to. But yeah, it's brutal.
Do you want to tell us, can you speak to what you care about right now? Can you talk about Utah Abortion Fund?
I'm on the board there, and that is something that I care a lot about. And
what do they do? Tell for the people that don't know.
Well, they fund abortions. So if you need, basically, we run a health line that anyone can call any time of day and ultimately get connected with a volunteer who's trained, who can help you access information if you need abortion care, if you have questions about abortion care, if you've had an abortion and you're having symptoms, like any range of things. But yeah, and then we also run this Repro Wellness Kit program. So we create these beautiful little reproductive wellness kits, which I know have been made in this very building before, and stash them. They're stashed like all over the state in coffee shop bathrooms with different providers. And they've got, everything from condoms to Plan B and lube and information. And you can request one. So if you live in like a deeply rural part of the state, if you feel like it's not something those aren't resources that you could ask for of someone that you know or love, you can go to, I think it's utafund.org and request a kit, and we'll mail it to you for free. So yeah, I mean, I love this work. I think it's so important. And, and at the end of the day, I was just
going to ask, what called you to this?
We are a fund. So like our number one job is raising money and distributing money. A couple reasons. One is like, I mean, our healthcare system is in total collapse. I almost don't want to say total collapse because I feel like that implies that there was ever an infrastructure there that worked. But it is distressing. And another thing where like we all agree that it sucks. We all agree that it's broken. But I think that like this kind of community care is absolutely necessary. It saves lives. I think that people deserve no questions asked healthcare at every stage of their life, in every situation. You know your body, you know when you're experiencing pain, you know when something is or isn't right for you or your body. And the job of a healthcare provider is to help you through that situation and to listen to you.
Is this personal for you, or is this something that you had someone close to you experience?
It's personal for me. I mean, I think like I just see bodily autonomy at the core of so many issues in our society right now. And I think it's an important part of the social contract. And so for me, I just think like there's so much that we can't fully understand or be honest about or talk about if we don't respect each other's bodily autonomy. And so I think that like this issue for me is a cornerstone issue and also a gateway to so many other conversations.
I would sit next to you at a basketball game and talk about this, for the record. So if you need someone where you can whisper, all right, actually we would be yelling, we wouldn't be whispering. So I am doing this because I'm there for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm ready. I am ready. I really love this work. And I think people in this space are amazing in the like reproductive wellness space. And I actually think there is something about living in a state where reproductive justice is practically non-existent from like legally speaking. I think that like there are people who do such an amazing job making sure that people are seen, feel seen, are heard, are cared for. And they do it despite literal threats to their safety and their practice. And I think that's incredible. And so that to me is also the kind of thing where like when you ask like, how do you process your anger? How do you I think showing up, being part of this fund, raising money for this fund, like connecting with people on this like very grassroots, very simple work. It feels so good and it feels like we're building something. And I mean, fundamentally, like the Dobbs decision, the overturning of Roe versus Wade was so shitty. So many people have died since that decision was made that didn't need to die. And probably many more people will die who don't need to die because of that decision. But Roe was not perfect. And so this to me is an example of like when we rebuild this framework, we can do it better. We can do it better. Because we needed abortion funds even when we had Roe. Mm-hmm. And so there one day, hopefully, will be an opportunity to supersede what we had with Roe and to do it bigger and better. And that's going to be cool.
I do think that is what's happening with us in the current iteration of seeing whatever you want to call it, more evil coming to the surface or more systems that are broken and more people acknowledging it, is that we now get to do something with it. Like that is actually the opportunity, just like you said, that it wasn't perfect before. It was a system and it worked and it did good work and it had good intent and all of these things came out of it. But everything can technically always become more fulfilling for the people that it's serving or serve them in a more efficient way. Or, I mean, that's the beauty of systems, not the negative side of it, being able to make it more efficient, tweak it, have it serve faster, better, give whatever the outcome is.
Yeah.
So that is a really beautiful thing that I want to amplify that you just said, is that this isn't, yes, it's a travesty, an absolute fucking travesty that it was taken. But it also gives us a beautiful opportunity that we now get to be part of that conversation. And we have different voices to weigh in than the women who fought for it before. And in no comparison, it's not better or worse. It's just now we have 50 years of different knowledge that we can now apply to that system. What are we going to do with it?
Yeah. And we have new opponents some of the same opponents, but also new people who are challenging the way we think about it. And that's going to help us be more holistic.
Yep. Strengthen it.
Because at the end of the day, nobody asks your political affiliation when you call the Utah Abortion Fund. We don't give a shit.
Yep.
And so that care is going to be there for you no matter what. So it does belong, I think, to all of us in this state. And I think that like giving people ownership, a little bit of ownership as well over systems, can also help them or inspire them or encourage them to think about them differently, or how they may or may not also be served by them.
I don't know if you felt this way when you moved to Utah, but coming from California, which so many people in Utah very much despise because California is quote unquote super liberal.
Right.
And I'm from San Diego. So the reality is like, yeah, there's some surf culture and skate culture, but it's like mostly Republican. It's a pretty conservative area. But I also lived in San Francisco, the most liberal of the liberal. And I remember telling people in San Francisco, so I'm moving to Utah, and they're like, what the fuck are you going to do about anything?
Yeah.
Like you haven't had children yet. There wasn't a decision. So like, how are you going to get an abortion? How are you going to vote? How are you going to make any impact? Because you're walking into a state that doesn't allow any of your beliefs to thrive. And what was crazy is I was like, yeah, I mean, technically that's true. I'm also kind of insulated in so many different ways as a, privileged person that is a white woman. But that sounds like opportunity, actually. That sounds like the opportunity to build what I did not know at the time, but Maven, a place for women to feel safe and to be heard, because that was so normal and natural in my environment that I got to come to a new state that seemingly did not showcase that to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the coolest parts of, again, that opportunity. Because now we talk to people and they're like, that's in Utah? The world's largest community of women-owned small businesses is in Utah? Like no, it's not. It's like, fuck yeah, it is, because we built it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we get to do.
Also an important, I think, like lesson in there is that I think the message that's being sent about what happens in Utah and what people want in Utah versus what they like actually want is an important reminder that we are living in somewhat of an oligarchy in this state. Like we have gerrymandered districts, we are represented by a small few. And like when you poll people on issues, when you actually talk to people about issues, they are not aligned with governance. They are deeply displeased by the way that they're being governed in all parts of the state. And so it's like, well, hold up, California. Like, because if you actually were to talk to the vast majority of Utahns, I think their beliefs probably would in some ways align with people in San Francisco.
Yeah, there's a facade that's been built in Utah that the mirror of what it shows the world is not necessarily what is here.
Yeah. They'd be like, no, we really want clean air. I'd love to take a Trax to work. I want my kids to have a great education. Like,
Tell us, is this how Florida is? Is Florida actually not the way that we see Florida?
I think a little bit, for sure. Florida's also like deeply gerrymandered state. There's a lot of voter suppression that happens in Florida. I think Florida underwent a major shift during the pandemic, which is that a lot of people who lived in states with like mask ordinances and things like that moved there because they wanted to skirt them. And so it changed the vibe in, like, for example, my hometown big time, pre and post pandemic. where it was like a lot of people came to town because they were like ready to embrace the Floridian oligarchy. And they were like, we want this. We're going there.
Two guns straight up.
And so they like, it was a like attracts like sort of like situation. But yeah, I mean, all over the world, we all want the same things.
We really do. I don't think we're that far off. And so I'm here for the work. I'm here for the conversation, because I think one conversation at a time with the oligarchy and the people that work for them and everyone in between gets us closer to that remembering of we all really want the same thing. We want safety. We want to be able to love the people we want to love. We want people not to tell us what to do. We want to create the lives we want with intention if possible, right? Yeah.
We think it'd be cool if our kid could walk to school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all things that everybody wants. Yeah.
I agree.
So to wrap us up, how can people help on Utah Abortion Fund? How can people find you? And what's your ask for our listeners?
So you can find the Utah Abortion Fund at utabortionfund.org. I would love if you donated. I would love if you donated $5 a month, like forever. That would be the best, because we are a fund. So every month we set our budget, and then when we run out of money, we can't give people any more money. We can't fund any more abortions. So like monthly donations help us plan. I would also say if you are interested in a media diet and you want a less outrageous way of having one, check us out at CityCast Salt Lake. Our website is saltlake.citycast.fm. And we'll send you a short newsletter every morning. We've got a 30-minute podcast every day that you can listen to. We'll keep you sort of in the loop on what's happening in Salt Lake City. We'll do it, I think, with some good humor and some kindness.
We've been on it. It's super funny.
Yeah, it's super funny. And also honesty and candor.
Yeah, you guys do a great job.
Yeah.
It's an incredible podcast for anybody who has not heard of it. I don't even live in Salt Lake. I'm outside of Salt Lake, but obviously because the business is here.
Yeah.
You guys do a great job of the media diet. I love that.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll tell you when we only have $200 to spend. And yeah.
Thank you.
I think those are my calls to
I do
action.
feel like we have one big question. Not that I want to put us in a rabbit hole of things, but you didn't get to ask your favorite question that gives you sparkly eyes. T.
What is your purpose?
What is your purpose?
What is your purpose?
I mean, to have as much fun as possible before I die.
I didn't get that vibe at all.
Mic drop.
I'm like, hold on. What's fun? Tell me the fun. What's on the list?
Good things happen when people are having fun. Big things can happen when people are having fun. I do think that sometimes, especially in the kind of spaces we can end up in, it's important to remember that if your goal is to have as much fun as possible before you die, that's okay. And that's actually great. And you will probably still end up doing wonderful things because you'll find the fun in them. But I am just here for a good time.
That's Florida in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ms. Vallarta. We adore you. We love you.
Thanks, Tessa.
Thanks for sharing.